tower of power getting wound up there?
Tower of power. That's Jack, it's not the car.
Different, you know?
It's like an airplane.
Yeah. Just three, it makes a difference. From the tilt up to the airline gate. On the airline gate.
That car is new.
Alright, it's on.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hi, my name is Mike Ogren. The camera person is Michael Ogren, my son. And this is Gretchen. Gretchen is a tandem wing airplane, ultralight airplane, based on some different configurations that I know already fly. It is my own design. It's based on the Ballerite, which is a tandem wing pusher, a Mignay pusher, and it's based on roughly on some sizings from the HM293. The wings are 90 square foot front wings, 52-inch chord. Rear wing is 16.5 feet span. The front wing is 21.5 feet span. Total area is about 140 square feet. It flies. Effective wing area is about 125 square feet based on its wing loading and flying speed, mostly due to the rear wing's ineffectiveness and lightly wing loaded. The span between the gap between the wings is about 40 inches, about 70% of the wing chord. As you can tell, there's vortex generators all over the airplane, and these have helped to stabilize and make the control system almost linear at the mush speed and below the mush speed. It seems to attach the airflow very well over the top of the wing at a very low speed. You can feel it. It's a fairly dramatic feel, pitch control wise at low speeds. It's very linear, it's very effective. It's lowered the takeoff speed from about 38 miles an hour to 35 or 36 miles an hour on a medium density altitude day. The rudder, the airplane is far from perfect. The rudder is effectively, in my world, or in my mind, it's a little bit too high relative to the center of gravity. When you control the rudder, it counter rolls the airplane just a little tiny bit, and it takes a little bit of effort to get the airplane into and out of turns. Once it's into a turn, it's very controllable and comforting, but it's not a linear exit from the turn. There's a little bit of hesitation, needs a little bit of counter rudder to get out of the turn. As you can tell, I've tip plated the effective areas of the rudder to increase its effectiveness and move the center of pressure away from the center of gravity. The fin is actually a little bit too close to the prop, and I'm sure has some interference that we're not really aware of. Flying wise, the airplane flies great now that I've got it trimmed and balanced and CG'd and have dealt with different issues of the pitch and angle of attack. We can adjust the rear wing angle of incidence, angle of attack through these bushings that it's mounted on. And right now it's flying around 1 degree angle of attack statically on the ground. From the videos that we've taken in the past, the airplane will fly at 1 degree angle of attack on the rear wing regardless of where you set the wing. You set it at 3 degrees positive incidence, the plane's going to fly nose down, the rear wing will fly at 1 degree, almost always. The front wing also at cruise speed. It flies at 1 or 1.5 degrees effective incidence. So if you pitch the rear wing up 3 degrees, you also have to pitch the front wing up to balance it. So basically, what we can tell, moving the rear wing, it changes the effective flying height of both the rudder and the rear wing. If you pitch it flat, the rear wing is relatively low. If you pitch it up, the rear wing and the rudder moves up relative to the center of gravity and the center of drag. That's about it. The engine's a 35 horsepower Cuyuna. It's run pretty trouble-free. It's got about 30 hours on it since I rebuilt it. The airplane has about 15 or 16 hours on it in the air at this point in time. The last 6 or 7 hours have been fairly comforting. The first 10 hours were trial and error, low speed ground effect, and trying to get the plane to turn where we trusted it, etc. That's about it. The landing gear, as you can tell, is a tricycle landing gear, and that has been very receiving of our crosswind landings, and very compliant. You can land it in a crosswind. You just give a little rudder kick, and if you get the plane square, fine. If not, it just chirps the tires a little bit and heads down the runway. We have a lightly loaded nose gear, which you can run down the taxiway at 30, 32 miles an hour with the nose gear right off. If you pull back in the wing a little bit, you can run the length of the taxiway with the nose gear off the ground, which is what we do quite often. The taxiways here are 7,000 feet long and 5,000 feet long, so it's a substantial taxiway. Initially, we started running the taxiways at 4 or 5 feet altitude, and we've reduced that to running off the runways at altitude now. The wingtips are a modified Whitman Horner Wick wingtips, and Whitman said that the angle of this cut will encourage the airflow off the wingtip to separate in an outward direction instead of rolling up the wings. The tough test that we did earlier, we had the whole thing tough tested behind the car and videotaped it from the car, and the tough tests were fairly linear off the wing at high angles of attack. So we're not really sure if the wingtips are effective or not effective. I personally don't like wingtips aerodynamically because they're not really beneficial, but we've added these wingtips both for aesthetics and to keep the outer wing panel easy to cover, because if you don't use a wingtip, you have to reinforce the outer rib. So when you shrink the fabric, it sucks the outer rib in. These ribs are all 1-inch foam ribs with fiberglass on one side of them, and the spars are aluminum ladders. I think they're, like I said, they're 16 feet. The back one's 16 feet, and the fronts are 11 and a half, 12 foot. So these are aluminum ladders inside here. Pitch control is through the wheel, and it's got a series of bell cranks, and as you can tell, the wings are not connected directly, so the wings are connected with a tie bar in the back to take a little shock load when the thing bounces around, and they're connected with these bell cranks and adjustable push rods or pull rods depending on what you're doing with the airplane. The angle between the wings has turned out to be extremely critical. Any twist or off balance will make the plane turn one way or the other, and it's a relatively substantial effect. These are tip plated on the inboard wing to keep air, basically to keep the pressure differential above and below the wing as strong as we can keep it to make more lift. As you can tell, I have a mirror here. That's for because the plane flies in the landing pattern at 45 to 50 miles an hour, and I like to make sure I'm not going to get run over. It's got the typical gauges: cylinder head temperature, and tachometer, and exhaust gas temperature. The only gauges. We have a rudimentary airspeed gauge. It's called a Hall meter. And it seems to work fairly well. It's very linear at high speed. The airplane sees about 65 and a flat speed, and you can as low as 30 or 25 miles an hour if you wobble the wing on ground effect in the landing position. And that's about it for the walk around in the ground.
All right, let's go. Get up with him. Get up even with him. Yeah.
Go back down and get a picture of him.
Yeah.
We'll stop right here. All right, we'll go back down here and wait at this way.
Go. Go, 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 go. 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 I can't hear you.
Okay.
There we go. Stay right here with it.
He's not going to land, I don't think.
I think he is. We're almost out of battery.
Are you? Well, you better switch it.
Might as well get the whole thing.
Yeah, you might